Good morning, San Diego. My name is Mario Rosas. We interrupt this program for breaking news on animal abuse. Sadly, animal abuse is an issue that isn't well known about, yet it has an impact on American society. And it doesn't only affect animals, it affects people too. In many studies, professionals have found that animal abuse is linked to domestic violence. In one study, women who experienced domestic violence also had cases of animal abuse in the same household. More on this topic is our interview, Desmond Sayers, with the specialist Brief Castillo.
Deputy Director of Animal Services in San Diego, and I just have a couple questions for her and stuff, you know.
Sure.
How many animal neglect cases do you get like in a month or so?
Okay, so department-wide we received nearly 650 calls about animal cruelty and neglect of all types. Luckily, many of those reports are unfounded or required.
And how does like an animal being abused affect its adoption? Like, if the animal was like beaten or it was like starved or so, does that like affect its adoption in any kind of way?
It can, but that's only rare, and if it does affect it so much, then the animal can be euthanized. But for the most part, like we get them back to health and stuff and send them up for adoption. And since animals are very forgiving and loving, they'll just jump right back into the family.
And by euthanizing, you mean?
That we mean we have to put them to sleep.
What would you say is animal neglect to you? Like, what does that mean when you hear animal neglect?
Well, for me, it's not a question for me. It's more for the law. And it can range from failing to provide animal shelter and down to starvation. And so neglect is generally a failure due to something like not giving them enough food, water, veterinary, whatever it may be. And then abuse, on the other hand, is more of cruelty, stabbing, dragging, beating, or any of that just follows under animal cruelty.
Oh, I see. And then finally, how would you say somebody could help against animal neglect? Like anything that a common person could do, not somebody that needs that, like resources or something.
I have 2 words for you: observe and report. When you observe something, then you can let us know, and then we can go and help with that situation, and then we can normally go to the rest of the owner for what they do.
Alright, thank you for your time in raising animal awareness.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Back to the studio.
That was our interview where our reporter Desmond Sayers interviewed the specialist Brief Castillo. In a moment, we'll be back.
So what if it hurts me? So what if I break down? So what if this world just throws me off the edge? My feet run out of ground. I gotta find my place. I wanna hear my sound. Don't care about all the pain in front of me, 'cause I'm just trying to be happy. Yeah. Just wanna be happy.
Welcome back. Our reporter Desmond Sayers will interview Patrick Wilcox.
So how would you say her life is better with you than with her previous owners?
Well, as you know, Phoenix was 80 grams, and she's so far put on about 250 grams of weight. And how she's gotten even better is she's also been able to be pregnant and have babies. So far she's pregnant right now, and she's due in about 3 days to lay her eggs. She no longer has metabolic bone disease, which is a very serious disease. It's basically brittling of the bones throughout the whole skeleton.
So like easier to break?
Yes. And it will be that for the rest of her life. It's just, I stopped the progression of it. And yeah.
Thank you for your time, Patrick.
Thank you.
That was our reporter reporting with Patrick, and now we will have our interview with Officer.
Hi, I'm here with Deputy Quinn, and she's here to tell me about a call she responded to earlier this evening.
Thank you. And on January 15th, I received a call from a lady. She reported that her dog got shot on the head. They had to take the dog to the animal emergency room, and they had to euthanize the dog because of the critical condition. And we're still looking for the man who did it.
So sad. Thanks to our specialists, we are able to conclude and support the fact that animal cruelty is a terrible crime and should be severely punished here in the U.S. According to AnimalLiberation.com, animal abuse began in the 1940s, and since then, over 15 million cases of animal abuse and neglect have been reported in the U.S. alone. Here are some solutions that we were able to come up with the help of our staff and the specialists. So what do you guys think is an acceptable penalty for animal cruelty? Current laws protect the offenders and not the animals, so what can we do to change this?
Well, first of all, I think animal abuse offenders should be educated with a combination of jail time.
I agree with Dr. Castillo. I believe a federal law should be set in place with no loopholes so that criminals have to face the consequences of their actions.
Okay. So what should this federal law say?
There should be more punishments for different levels of animal cruelty.
And educating the offender why it is wrong.
Agreed.
The first-time offenders that have no criminal history at all should be sent to a rehabilitation center or therapy to solve their emotional issues and teach them why animal cruelty is bad too. Also, the animal will be taken away.
Okay, good. And what about the second offense?
6 months to a year in jail time, the offender would now be eligible to have a pet of it.
The criminal would also repeat the process stated in the first offense.
Okay. This sounds good so far. So is there a third offense penalty too?
Yes.
Okay. For the third offense, the offender would go to jail for about 8 to 15 years without parole. And this would also repeat the first and second offense penalties. After jail time, the offender would receive therapy for about 18 months. An individual who kills an animal, in particular, automatically considered a third-time offender.
Okay, and we discussed about the fourth offense and that the criminal would get 25 to life, and we think it's unacceptable that if someone kills or has severely injured an animal multiple times, is not allowed to have a pet, still finds a way to injure a pet. I mean, that's not right. You know, you go out of your way to a creature. They must be brought to justice.
I completely agree with Mr. Wilson.
Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys can come back soon.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Don't be cruel to whose heart is true. Baby, if I made you mad for something I might have said, please let's forget the past. The future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to whose heart is true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just...